Hey, stay tuned. I'm going to talk about taxes and copyrights. You'll find out what I'm talking about. Hang in there. Hello folks, welcome back to Pine Meadows Hobby Farm. I'm your host Jerry Hansen. Some of my viewers have been following our adventure on establishing the homestead from where we came from homelessness, was able to get work and get enough funds and build up the credit to go and purchase Pine Meadows and get back on our feet. We did it in some creative ways, and so this video is answering some questions from my viewers about the homestead and a couple of answers, and also because I keep getting statements like because I did get a loan from what I called the title loan company, but it wasn't a title loan company, so I want to be able to clear that up. And what it was a financial institution. I don't want to mention their name, but they're a legitimate financial institution. They're not one of these loan sharks. And I didn't have the credit I needed to otherwise just go down and use my good name to get a loan. So this particular institution just wanted the title for my car as collateral. And they gave the title back to me after about 6 months. They returned the title because I showed in good faith that I was a good credit risk, and I paid on time, sometimes early, and also double payments, so they saw that I wasn't a risk at all, and that's how that happened. So it wasn't one of those loan sharks, so don't worry about that. Another question I keep getting on the same subject line as, this is stemming from my video, How a Poor Man Can Buy Cheap Property, and also another video on how I bought property cheap. The other question was, how much do I pay in taxes? Well, I'm okay with sharing that with you. You got to understand that taxes in one state are different than taxes in another state, or even county by county. It depends on the county, the jurisdiction you live in. Taxes could vary widely. So for 30 acres in one state in a particular county, your taxes would be probably about $100, if that. In other states, that same type of property could cost thousands of dollars. It just depends on the market and what that county thinks they can get away with. I know that's going to open up a whole new can of worms for some of you on how the government, gets your money, their hands in your pocket, but that is not what this video is about. It's simply answering the question, how much I pay for taxes. Now, mind you, the property I bought, and it wasn't a mortgage I bought it with. It was a promissory note to pay through the county, because I did buy the land from the county auction. So it's not a mortgage. I didn't have to finance it. I didn't have to pay any extra fees. It was one of those alternative methods that people have available to them to find property and buy it. And what it's called is surplus property. I found it through the surplus property auction sale, that they would sell properties at an auction that they had seized, or the properties were literally abandoned. Like this property was abandoned, and the county just took ownership of it or possession of it and turned around and sold it for a percentage of the value of the property, not the full value of the property. That's how come I got on to it for so cheap. And the county has interesting parameters on buying property. All they wanted was 10% down, and they carried the note for 20 years. So this made it feasible for me to get on the property. I was working at the time because I had, like I mentioned earlier, we had been homeless. I got skills to get back to work, and I was working then at the time. And I was also building up my credit through that loan that I got from the car to be able to purchase this property. So everything worked out great. So before I tell you how much I pay in taxes for the property and how I pay for the taxes on the property, when I got the property all set up, the county tax lady who comes out and assesses the current value, because I placed a mobile home structure, or manufactured home, whatever you want to call it. Let me digress a bit. When I bought the land, it had a destroyed single wide mobile home on it. And when I was able to get a permit, which is relatively inexpensive, a permit to swap, because I bought this manufactured home about 3 years previous, and I stored it in the farm down mile down the road. And the house I bought for $10,000, and I got it for a good deal from a private party. So again, I didn't have to go through financial institutions. I didn't even have to pay for any fees or anything for making the transaction, and I didn't have to pay interest. It was just a private party purchase. It was through a friend of mine, and I had the house paid off in, I think it was 9 months. We had it paid off because we had some money coming through bonuses from work. I'd been there 4 or 5 years by then. Bonuses from work and tax refunds, and just my regular pay. So we were able to pay it off in a relatively short period of time. So that's how come we became owners of the house. Now the taxes on the house itself is just over $100 a year, and those taxes on the house should go down each year because it's a manufactured home, and manufactured homes depreciate in value each year. And yeah, so that's how that worked out. Now, when I put the house on the land, the tax lady came out and did her assessment, and she told me a secret, and I'm going to go ahead and pass that secret on to you. She told me it's cheaper, and she told me not to tell anybody, but you know what? This is valuable free information I want to share with you guys, because I'm all about saving money, and I'm going to go ahead and let the cat out of the bag. What she told me was, if you keep the house separate from the land and not title them together, the taxes overall are cheaper. I was able to do that because I owned the home outright and was able to bring it over onto the property, and the property was not financed through a financial institution. Now, financial institutions will require you to put both house and land together on one title, because if they need to go in and seize the property or foreclose on the property because something devastating happened in your life and you can no longer afford to make your house payments, they can come in and legitimately take your house and your land from you and foreclose on you. Now, I own the house outright. I hold the title. The county is holding the title on the land until I get them paid. And so my yearly tax on the property is, what did I pay? $1,100 thereabouts and some change. So $1,200, just under $1,300 total a year is what I pay on property taxes. Now keep in mind, our property taxes go up 3% every year in our state, including the property taxes. But the taxes and the interest I pay on the property, I get to claim an income tax at the end of the year, which I'm going to be going down in a couple of days and getting my taxes done and see how much money we get back. So I want to do a disclaimer here. I think I have to do this disclaimer here. I am not a licensed tax professional. I'm learning as I go. I'm just like you guys, a do-it-yourself or homeowner. So I'm sharing information with you on how I did it this is not a how-to video. It's just simply a video on how my wife and I were able to pull things together here and create Pine Meadows Hobby Farm. I should point out that in the last 3 years, YouTube, my YouTube channel has been making a pretty, an okay revenue. And in the last year, the revenue has really gone really nice as a result of you viewers tuning in and watching my show and queuing in on our adventures here. It's from viewers like you watching my shows and putting up with the advertisers when they post banners and advertisements on my channel. That's how I receive revenue from Google. I partnered with Google through their AdSense program, AdSense partnership program, and all my videos are monetized. Some of them I don't monetize, but most all of them are monetized, and I'm able to get paid for it. It is that income that I was able to pay for the property taxes in previous years. With the exception of this past year. This past year, something phenomenal happened. I still can't understand it. It's just whatever YouTube's algorithms decided to do with only one particular video. And that video was how a poor man can buy cheap property. That video went ballistic. And I was able to make enough and pay my entire year's mortgage on the house and the property taxes. That is incredible. So we'll see how it goes this year. We're just now starting the year, and it's looking a little bit iffy, but yeah, it looks like, well, I'm making enough to at least pay the mortgage and a little bit over. So we'll calculate it all at the end of the year and see if I made enough to pay the mortgage and the taxes, and hopefully, in addition, the homeowner's insurance. Okay, speaking of YouTube, there was another comment from viewers, and I've been getting this comment several times, and that was on the background music. Apparently, there is a group of lawyers or a company or whatever that's going around and doing copyright strikes on YouTubers based upon the music or soundtracks that they're putting into their videos. And when that happens, that company takes all of your monetized revenue, and you get nothing until you dispute it and prove that you have the license to be able to play it. And of course, I think it's 3 copyright strikes and YouTube basically just takes down your channel. I think that's the way it works. So I'm being very cautious, even about if there's a radio playing in the background or even a TV in the background and there's audio coming through that you're hearing, that could be considered copyright infringement. So I'm trying to be really careful of not to infringe on other people's copyrights, and especially on these people. Now, it was kind of silly in the beginning. When I first launched my show, I had this music on there, and I got a copyright strike. They wanted me to prove that I had license to have this in my channel. Well, folks, as you know, that background music is a guitar that I was playing, and I confess I still don't know how to play guitar. It was a tune that I composed, I wrote, and I produced. So how could it not be mine? I had to threaten them with lawsuit for false claims, and also I had to threaten them with a lawsuit over theft because they were claiming rights to my music. Well, they backed down, so that's why I decided just to stay, because I had first-hand experience with these booger heads. I went ahead and just kept my music, and that way I won't be risking any copyright claims. So that's why you hear that background music, that it's the same music over and over again. Someday I'll sit down and I'll compose something else, but I do want to take guitar lessons. But the guitar, it has improved. I've re-recorded it, replayed it over the years to make it sound better. And I learned how to tune the guitar. So today's videos are a little bit better than my earlier videos, but it annoys a lot of people, especially musicians, and I understand. I'm sympathetic with that, but I'm just gonna say it is what it is. That music's not going away. It's going to stay. Turn the volume down if you don't like it, or push the forward button and get into the content of the video, because I only play the music at the beginning of the video and at the end of the video. That's the only time you're going to hear the music. So that's the reason why it's there, and I want it because I'm the creator of these shows, and it's my decision to have it where it is and what it sounds like. I'm able to exercise my creativity through the whole video, even how I move the camera around from different angle to different angle and get different shots in the background for you guys, so you're not so bored with just one position with me sitting in front of the camera and just talking to you in a monotone voice. I try to keep a little bit of variety going, but that's part of the artistic part of it. And the music is another part. I had a gentleman, a viewer, he was kind enough to compose a couple of songs for me, variations on Pine Meadows Hobby Farm, and send me the soundtracks. And I've been really, really hesitant about playing or airing his soundtrack, because I don't have license authority to prove that I have the right to play that music. There was a case when an artist who wrote and composed and sang a certain music for one of the YouTubers. This is a recent story, and the YouTuber got copyright striked. And so he got written permission from the artist himself, and that still wasn't enough. The artist himself was completely taken aback on how in the world can these people claim rights on his song. Well, the artist is contracted with a label company, and that label company hires out different companies in different countries to manage the music, if you will, and so they're the ones who are doing these copyright strikes. So, you know what? YouTube is getting pretty complicated. They're getting more fearful about offending, and there's more and more restrictions coming down the pike, and so us as creators have to be even more cautious and stay on top of all of the new algorithms and regulations that YouTube is putting out, in order for us to be able to share our creative videos with you guys. After all, it is our work, and we deserve to be paid for it. Like some companies, some people have been taking our videos and putting them in to their shows and getting revenue from our work. That's wrong. Now, if you embed the video into a channel that you have, and that embedding, I want to understand, when you click on that embedded video, it brings you back to my channel, which I get the credit for the revenue of that video. And that's all right, because I'm allowing my videos to be embedded. But to take my video and claim it as your own and collect revenue, you're going to get copyright striked, and I'm going to get your revenue. That's what's that's how YouTube works. So you may end up even getting banished from YouTube and Google altogether. So we have to be careful. So that's all I have to say about that. I'm your host, Jerry Hansen, here at Pine Meadows Hobby Farm on the conversation about taxes and copyrights. Not a subject for homesteading, is it? But this is a little bit going on in the background and an attempt to answer viewers' questions and concerns. Please stay tuned for more videos. You can do that by subscribing, clicking that bell icon down below. Alert you to new videos as I upload them. Also, giving me a thumbs up helps out the channel, and sharing my videos on other video platforms and social media platforms also helps the channel. It exposes us to more. It's like you're advertising for me, because it's getting my content out to a wider audience who wouldn't otherwise know that we exist here at Pine Meadows Hobby Farm. You can also follow us on social media. I'm on Twitter, Facebook, Pinterest, for now Google Plus, and Blogger. And I'm on Snapchat and Instagram now too. So we'll see you guys in more videos. Bye-bye.